Well, as tensions mount in the United States over the actions of U.S. immigration enforcement officers, a Canadian company is facing criticism for a proposed business deal with ICE. Yasmin Hanea has been looking into the backlash and tell us about the story.
Yeah, basically the Department of Homeland Security wants to buy this giant warehouse in Hanover County, Virginia, that's owned by BC billionaire Jim Pattison. It says that it wants to turn this facility into an ICE facility. It says that ICE may make additions and improvements and renovations to the site in the exterior and interior, including maybe adding processing and holding cells and a guard shack. As I said, this is a giant warehouse. It's about 550,000 square feet. Jim Pattison Developments bought the site in 2022 for about $7.6 million US dollars, but property records show that its value could skyrocket to about $50 million US dollars this year after improvements. Ian, we reached out to Jim Pattison Developments about this proposed deal with ICE, but we haven't heard back.
Yeah, so is this a good business deal? Is this a case of dealing with an organization that you shouldn't deal with? These are the kinds of things that people are debating. Let's talk about Jim Pattison for a moment, because we know a lot about him here in BC. His name is everywhere. His legend is well known, but maybe not so much for people in the rest of the country.
Yeah, for sure. Jim Pattison, 97 years old. He's one of the richest people in Canada, and he's a real titan in Western Canada specifically. So if you've probably shopped at one of his grocery stores like Save On Foods, or you've probably visited one of his hospitals because he's also a huge philanthropist, or if you've driven on a highway and passed an advertising sign, it was probably one of his. So he's a huge titan across several sectors, including media, advertising, agriculture, resorts, car dealerships, the list really goes on.
Yeah, and former Premier Glenn Clark ended up working for him. He also had a key role with Expo 86. You won't remember this,
No,
but
I was not born.
I know, but I was. And he took on that role, and a lot of people who were born at that point really enjoyed it. So yeah, just kind of a mythic figure in this country, and part of the reason that there's a controversy about his dealings with ICE, or potential dealings. What has been some of the reaction to this deal?
Yeah, and there's been lots of reaction since the story was published. I've had a lot of residents in Hanover County actually reach out to me saying they are opposed to this proposed deal for a variety of reasons, including concerns about ICE's immigration crackdown that has been deadly. Also that they are worried that having such a facility could potentially tank property value. We've also heard from here in Canada from the leader of the BC Green Party, who is now calling for a boycott on Jim Pattison businesses and calling on the billionaire to sever ties with ICE. We've also heard from BC's Attorney General, Nikki Sharma, who says she's very concerned about what's happening in the U.S. and is urging Canadian businesses to act carefully. Here's more from her.
Just like the rest of the world, we watch in horror about what's happening there. And I think that calls upon business leaders across this province, including the whole country, to think about their role in what is unfolding there and to make decisions that would not lead to some of the outcomes that we're seeing unfold in the States.
And Ian, you've alluded to this, but, Canadian businesses have done business with ICE in the past. There's nothing illegal about it. But right now, in this moment, there are those ethical concerns, those questions that people are bringing up. So, for example, we spoke to an associate professor of ethics at Toronto Metropolitan University, and he says right now, amid this crackdown, that Canadian companies must draw a clear line about who they do business with, or else they risk tanking public opinion and staff morale. Here's more from this expert.
When it comes to human rights violations and when it comes to activities that seem to be eroding the rule of law, I think at some point companies need to sort of draw a line and say, look, we don't want to be contributing to that.
So Hanover County officials are expected to discuss this potential deal tomorrow, Ian.
All right, Yasmin, thank you very much.